What is up, YouTube? We are back at the shop. Got the Falcon up on the lift once again. Got the cross member in yesterday. Today, we are going to take a look at trying to hack job a temporary exhaust together. Like I said, I do have long tubes for this. This is an ongoing project. I don't want to mess around with trying to fit those right now, but I would like to throw some mufflers on this thing so I can putz it around and work out some kinks before we get into major overhauling. So, waiting on some parts. I got 2.5-inch thrush glass backs coming right now. Just like what I ran on the truck, I'm happy with those. It is what it is. But I need to figure out how I'm going to run these pipes down. This stock style header is kicked pretty close to this frame here. So I'm going to do a bunch of pie cuts and section these, weld them up, and basically there's a good chance I'm going to try and do what I can with as much solid pipe as possible. I'll run the muffler somewhere here, and it's just going to dump out right here-ish. Not looking to go crazy far back on this at all or do a full exhaust, just a temporary little hot rod setup, but I would like some mufflers in there. So got a handful of leftovers from the old stuff already cut, so I'll pull the bandsaw out, start chopping some of these down on angles, and we're just going to do a handful of pie cuts. It's a lot more welding than I want to do, but I can get this on here, like so. I got it marked already. This will go here. Got dripped with oil right in the face. That's cool. This will go here, like so. It'll kick it away from the frame. Probably one more pie cut section at the bottom, and then, or just pitch it over. I got 2.5-inch flexi line coming too. Not my favorite. It's this stuff here, but for a quick down and dirty setup, I think that should work. Just, man, it's right out here. It is all I really need. So start laying this out, throw some tacks up there, get them at least pitched roughly in the right direction, hook the rest up with some flexi hose, and run it down the road. Okay, so we'll be bouncing back and forth. I don't like MIG welding underneath the car. It sucks. I hate getting covered in splatter and hit. And I'm way worse at MIG welding than I am at TIG welding because this is all I've been doing lately. So got some fitment issues. It's not going to be perfect. I don't care. But basically we're going to go on the car, tack everything up, bring it down over here, finish weld on the bench. Get a couple tacks in this and give it some love with a hammer real quick. Get that a little closer and weld this up. So I got half the parts because I didn't have everything in stock, but I got one muffler, one more section of 2.5-inch pipe. That should give me enough. I ordered the flexi stuff. I'm hoping I don't have to use it. I literally just need to come down and back. I'm just gonna mount it somewhere along the cross member. I think, haven't gotten to that part yet just because I don't know exactly where everything's going. But I got this one fully welded on the driver's side. Kicks down, comes back. It's roughly in the right direction. If I need to swing that flexi section to here, then we'll figure out where that's going to go, or maybe I'll just come down and out the side. I don't really care. I just need some sort of muffler on there. Then on the other one, iron nut project coming up soon. Stupid Evo chopper that I'm supposed to be working on, but I don't have all the bolts and nobody else is here to work on it, so that can wait. Here's the next one. Got this tacked up. Just going to finish weld this, so I'll do one more of these. Meet you guys back under the car. Got the second pipe done. Just wrap around welded, nothing fancy. Same thing on this one. Like I said, I did get some of these parts, so now what I'm gonna do is grab that muffler and figure out exactly where those are gonna go in the car. Ideally, I know I have this section here. Also really need to figure out where this is leaking from. It's kind of pissing me off. Might be up top, on the top side. Oh, you know what it is? I never plugged the block hole for the oil. It's a roller cam, so it's got a side through the side of the block for the fill port. That was stupid. So I have an open hole in the side of the block that's leaking oil. So whatever, I know what it is now. Just gotta grab one of those little mini freeze plugs to plug that one, and that should take care of that issue. Onto the exhaust, let me get some stuff set up. I'll try and get this hung and mounted. Got the passenger side pretty much done with the scrap that I had from the truck. Just tacked up here on these last two. Don't mind the cold welds. Like I said, I hate welding upside down, and my tip is absolute trash, and I don't have more, and I'm not going to the store, so I'm just getting by with what I can. Now I can unbolt this, bring this over to the bench, TIG weld around both of them. Need a shorter bolt for the cross member because this one's too long. Come to the back of the car. You can see where that pipe's kind of sitting. It's nowhere near all the way in and over, but I don't want to get anywhere near the transmission shift bracket that I'm gonna have to remake. So if I grab the muffler and slide this thing on here, let's see if I can do this one-handed. Like so. That'll clamp there. I'll make a mount off the new steel right there to hang the rear, or maybe even one off of there. I haven't decided yet, but shorter bolt, that should give me plenty of clearance. Hopefully there's enough ground clearance. We'll find out once I get it back on the ground. So let me take this off, re-weld. Weld. Exhaust is welded, that's ready to go on. I'm also coating a bunch of stuff, and by a bunch of stuff, I mean one stupid wheel. So trying to get that coated, just waiting on temps to cool off, and still waiting on the other pipe, but making good progress. Got the passenger or driver's side done-ish. I hope that it'll clear. If not, I'm gonna have to tweak and modify a little bit. But just looking for a quick little dump. Got the hanger on there, welded up to the cross member bracket. Don't mind the welds. This welder is fighting me the entire way today. Does not want to cooperate. Probably because the tip is actually ruined and is not feeding proper speeds of wire. So whatever, it is what it is. Hopefully this will clear. I really don't know. Speed bumps or something, we can deal with that later. If they get banged around, I'm not too worried about it because this is temporary. But for what it is, should work. I just gotta start fabbing up the other side and kind of see what happens. Got the exhaust fabbed up on both sides. Here's kind of what we're looking at. I don't have the other muffler, still waiting on parts. Got the driver's side done. This is mounted in, got the hanger on there. Everything's pretty much good to go there. Waiting on parts on the passenger side. I got everything fabbed up and welded all the way down through here. This part that's on here is just a slip fit, so that's gonna be pretty much where these are at. I just had it back on the ground while I was waiting. Far from perfect. There's definitely adjustability on the top of this too. If I need to tweak anything, I have the extra hanger ready to go. Flip-flop that so I could weld that right onto this fresh metal here, just like this one was, onto the cross member support braces. So just waiting on that muffler to show up here. It should be here soon. Thought it would have been here by now, but it is what it is. In the meantime, I've also been messing around with the rear end. I figured out where the bounce is coming from. The shocks are good. However, if I run the shackles down here, these leaf springs are way too short. Well, the shackles are way too long rather. And I'm maxed out on the shock, like at full extension, so they're not actually compressing. If I take the load off, they do compress. However, this side wouldn't come free. So rather than risk that and being stranded here today, I do have another set of shocks coming. I'm trying to figure out if anybody's got a lead on Ford shocks. I'm looking for like 2-inch longer ones. That would alleviate many of the problems that I have. So basically, this is 17 1/4, I believe, on these extended length. I need another inch or two, basically, because the shock is the shock basically is compressing the leaf spring permanently. So I'm basically riding around with a rigid, kind of like my choppers. But that's where we're at on that one. I at least got it figured out. One less thing to worry about. So when the parts get here, we'll throw that exhaust on and then go for another ride. Well, back home once again. I got half of the exhaust on. It is sitting way too low for what I wanted it to be. Once I got it back on the ground, I'll bring you under there in a second. But it's back. Had a ton of trans issues. Honestly, it feels like this thing's got a shift kit in it. It might. I really don't know. Might not. With the converter, it wants to slip in high gear, but it wants to go like hell and chirp second all day long in lower gear. So if I take off from a dead stop, it goes, spins the tires, hard shifts into second, chirps second. I've been messing with the pressure cable. I don't know how accurate that gauge is. I haven't switched it yet. I do want to put an analog gauge in there instead of that digital one, just because it seems a little bit slow to react. Tried it with pressure set higher, lower. If I had it too high, it wouldn't shift. Right now, it's kind of first gear. If I'm trying to drive normal, it does not want to continue doing so. It's like, I'm going to take first gear all the way up to about 4 grand. If I let off a little, it'll shift back, which leads me to believe it's probably still a TV cable adjustment. I've kind of been taking notes with where I'm at now and adjusting that periodically every time I drive. If I go any looser than that, it pulls really hard through first and second and then slips like crazy up top. So double check the line pressure. I got it set. It's kind of intermittent. It doesn't want to constantly return, even though it's got a spring on it and should. I don't know how good this trans is. Like I said, it's all junk that I bought together. I do have another trans. I don't want to go that route yet, so we got a ways to go before we diag that one and decide to put a new trans in. But she's here. Dropped the Volvo off for an alignment. Drove the van to go pick that up because I left that car there. And lo and behold, the mixture screws needed some major adjustment. I know it's way colder than it was in the summer. The last time I drove this was like middle of summer, so just popped the doghouse off of that, did a final quick carb adjust on there. Super smooth again. Just got to the point where it started fine, drove fine under load, but at idle, if you're sitting on the brake, automatic. It's got an AOD in this too. Also the TV cable that works flawlessly. I didn't expect to have issues on the Falcon having done this one, but got that all squared away and just tweaked the mixer screws about a half a turn on each. Now it idles nice and smooth again at the stoplights like it's supposed to, not stumbling trying to die like it was prior to messing with that today. So that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. Cheers.